Welcome back to the Chicago Tomahawk. I'm Mike, got Matt with me, and we are going to get right into it. It's July 1st. Tampa is up 2-0. Toews has a return statement. Keith is working on a trade. Duncan Keith is working on a trade out of Chicago. That's what the rumors are. Blackhawks have lots of cap space. Adam Fox wins the Norris Trophy. Fleury wins the Vezina, and McDavid wins the MVP, which was, I think he was the second or third time unanimous votes for MVP. So, but let's start off with Tampa and Montreal. Matt, what do you see going on in the series, man?
Well, game 2 was a lot better for the Canadians.
Right.
Thought it was a great game. They were actually well deserving to win that game. But that last second goal in the second period, those last-minute goals in periods or first-minute goals at the beginning always come back and kill you, and that's what happened. And I noticed that the Canadians have not beaten Vasilevsky clean. Both goals that they have on him this series have deflected off a player or their own player, so they still haven't beaten him clean yet. So they got to get one by him clean. Yeah,
they got to start scoring goals on him because Vasilevsky is just, I mean, especially considering the team that's in front of him, he's just a really strong goaltender as well. And Carey Price doesn't have that.
Yeah, that last second goal, I thought Price played the puck. Well, he played the shooter a little too. He challenged the shooter a little too much, and it was a quicker. He had to get over quicker, and he couldn't do it, and it was a backbreaking goal for them.
Yeah, and they need to start putting up more than 2 goals a game as well.
Yeah, you got to help your goalie out. You got to get some, some scoring from, all your lines. You got to Corey Perry was a big factor in the last series, and they can't depend on this Suzuki guy. I mean, he's been playing great, but I mean, they need help.
Yeah, they do. So moving on, big news. Toews made a statement. He's coming back next season. He had chronic immune, response disorder. That's what he was saying. I never heard of it, but apparently, with all the stress that he's put on his body over the years, his body just said that's enough and started turning on him, and he needed time off to get himself right. And I'm glad that he did. And it was good to see. It was good to see on Twitter, him skating around and joking around with some guys that are still in Chicago practicing and stuff. And we're definitely going to need him next season.
Yeah, it was great to see him skating, and even just great to see him. Period.
Yeah,
he looks healthy. He looks like a little. I don't know. Like his eyes seemed like he was probably stressing. But it was great news for the Hawks because, lately it's been bad news. So
yeah.
I'm glad he's committed to coming back.
I guess it's pretty convenient, they're like, hey, can you come back and give us a little good news?
Yeah, so that's what I said yesterday. One of our followers said, just when Bowman thinks he can get out of the fire announcing Toews is coming back, Duncan Keith says he wants out, so he's right back in the fire again.
Yeah, no kidding. And that actually brings us up on our next topic is Duncan Keith. And you know what? I don't think that this is a I want out of Chicago type of a thing. I think this is a, I want to be closer to my family, because his family is all on that side of the country. In that I think they're in British Columbia.
Yeah, I think somewhere around that the west coast
of
Canada.
And his kid is, unfortunately, he got divorced a few years back, and his kid, I believe, lives with his mom in Canada. Mm-hmm. So he wants to be closer to his kid. His kid's getting older, and that's pretty understandable. And I think that that's great that the Blackhawks are willing to work with him to let him play out maybe his final 2 years. And be able to be there for his kid as much as he can as well. But man, it's a tough pill to swallow, man, especially with Seabrook retiring last year, Crow retiring last year. All that we're going to have left, man, is Toews and Kane.
I know that those are the last, last men standing.
And they're the old guard.
Yeah, I mean, it's an end of an era coming up, and it's sad.
Yeah.
So hopefully we get Hammer back and, get that.
Inside.
Well, yeah, if you can see, I guess he's not part of the three, but two is, getting Sod back would be good.
Actually, when we were talking about the last couple podcasts, man, we were talking about how we wanted Seth Jones instead of Dougie Hamilton. And to be honest with you, with this news of Duncan Keith, maybe Dougie Hamilton would be a good fit now.
If I had to pick one, I would still go with Jones. But I mean, I'm not gonna be like upset if they're out trying to get a guy and spending a little money. But like I said, we know what Dougie Hamilton can do. He could put points up, and that's nice and everything. But we need to prevent goals too. Right. So I think Jones fits that category better.
Yeah, he does. And would you rather take an opportunity of Ian Mitchell or Bowden or even Stillman getting dedicated ice time each night than picking up a Dougie Hamilton?
Well, if we didn't get Jones, I mean,
just say in a perfect world,
I'd want to make a splash, but I think Stillman has the potential to be like a stay-at-home guy, and maybe like an Eric Johnson when he was starting out. He kind of reminds me of or even that Wyatt Kalynuk.
Yeah,
I think he would kind of fit that two-way guy. But like I said, I'd still rather have a one-dimensional Brent Sopel, Nick Jarmelson, Johnny Oduya type of guy, because they're so important, and they're almost extinct. They want these new guys coming in to play both ways. It's so fast now, the game, and these guys like Brent Sopel, I don't think Brent Sopel would survive in this league today, and that was just 10 years ago, right?
Yeah, I think I would honestly label Johnny Oduya as a two-way defenseman. He seemed to have some offensive upside, and he had a pretty decent ability of bringing the puck up.
I mean, maybe the second time he was here, his second stint, I guess you could call it. They didn't want him to be like that. They wanted him to complement Hammer. Those two are just smart. They block shots. They make a good pass to get it out of the zone, and that's all we asked from him, and it worked out great.
Yeah, it did. But what I mean is, in a perfect world, if we were able to land Seth Jones, would you be okay with, Ian Mitchell, Bowden, or Stillman getting, or even like you mentioned, Kalynuk getting dedicated ice time every night?
Oh yeah, I think these guys can learn a lot off Jones, and I think I think if we did get Jones, we're probably going to lose Zadorov or even Murphy, maybe.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to rely on these young guys and you're going to pray that they can develop faster than they're expected to.
I would rather protect Stillman than Zadorov.
Yeah, same. He doesn't have a contract right now, so. And if from the reports he wants $5 million, which is, let him go. Don't.
I agree 100%.
Just it's not worth it.
I think Stillman I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you. I just think that Stillman has a larger upside than Zadorov.
Well, for his money too, he's barely making $1 million for 3 years. That's a great deal. That's a great cap deal for the Hawks, and we know what he can do. And he needs time, and I really like that from Bowman. And I'm not a Bowman guy at all, but that was a smart signing and a smart trade to get him.
Yeah, I think so too. I give Bowman credit for that. Let's move on to the Hawks cap space, man, because it's been a really long, especially if they're able to trade Keith, it's been a really long time, man, since they've had this kind of cap space.
So what are we looking at? 30 million? Close? Or 26?
You know what? I should have kept that link that you sent me, man. You know, let me find it. Hold on 1 second.
You know what? I think I got it. It's you know what too? We're still paying guys that have been traded. Like we've been taking on like a like we'll take on $1 million part of his contract.
In all honesty, I don't even have a problem with it because just as long as it doesn't hurt the cap.
Yeah, I remember that was off Hockey Buzz.
Yeah,
I have it right here.
Okay.
So we are at 19 million. So that's with Keith. It's 5. So we're looking at 24 million.
Yeah,
maybe 25.
But take away Toews, so that's 14.
Oh, that's right.
15.
Toews is 10.5 is back. Okay, that's right. Unless they. Okay, yes, Toews is not on this list. That's why. Yes, because he's on long-term IR.
Oh, okay. So then, if that's the case, then if they have 19, if they get rid of that'd be 24 million. Is that,
so 14, right?
Yeah, and actually, Zadorov is on here as well. So if you add him on there, that would be 27 million. If we don't sign him, Toews comes back, we have 17 million in cap space.
Well, don't forget too, Seattle could take DeHaan, and that's another 4 million added.
Right. So potentially looking at after the expansion draft, potentially looking at 21 million in cap space, which is significant.
That's wow. Yeah. When's the last time we even saw 4 million in cap space? Even 3. You know, we've always been crunching and moving guys to get it to even get, in the legal limit.
Yeah. And luckily, DeBrincat's only getting 6.4.
Yeah. And then it drops down pretty big.
Drastically.
Kubalik to 3.7.
How long is his deal? Does he have like a 2 or 3 year deal?
He might have another year, I think.
Man, he's going to get paid if he scores 40.
He could. If we get him a good line mate.
Here's another thing. Dylan Strome's on there.
Yeah, at 3.6.
3.6 million cap hit from Dylan Strome. That's incredible.
I think he's going to be a part of any trade we make. He's going to be a part of it. There's just no room for the guy. There's no room.
Yeah. And what about Brett Connolly?
Yeah, that's going to be tough to move. I think that was more of a...
He seems to have some puck luck, though.
Doing Florida a favor, I think we did. I mean, they gave us a good prospect. It was like the Bickle and Teuvo Teravainen trade that we made.
Yeah.
We got cap space. They got a good prospect.
Right.
That, he's pretty good over there, too.
Who was the prospect that we got? I forgot his name.
Well, no, I mean the prospect. Oh, from Florida?
Right.
Lucas something. He's not on this list because I don't think he was signed at the time.
Yeah, I don't think he was either.
Was it a Carlson?
I'd have to look it up.
Yeah,
I honestly thought Stillman was a good filler in there.
I thought Stillman was the main piece, honestly, but people are telling me that this prospect from whatever league he's playing he was the main piece. Lucas something. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's crazy, man. I mean, just thinking of the possibilities of what we can do in moving this around. To be honest with you, I think Adam Boqvist has value, and we could get a decent prospect for him.
Yeah, like I said though, if we're serious about Jones, you have to imagine he's in the deal. If not Kirby Dach, and I don't think Kirby will be in there. We finally got our centers.
I really hope not.
There's no way. There's just too much unknowns about Kirby. We got to give him a full season. Not hurt and starting late or canceling. He was playing very limited minutes his first year, which you don't learn anything from. You gotta put him out there with good players. We'll see how he is.
Yeah. Who was it? I was looking at Otter 1021 on Twitter. He mentioned that Boqvist is the new type of D-man that teams are looking for, and he just needs to find his confidence. Just want to give him a shout out there, because if he is, I wonder what we could get in return for him.
I think I was talking with him. He seems like a good dude, but I just disagree. I think we know what we have with Boquist, and
Right.
he's small. He gets beat a lot. He makes a ton of mistakes. I know young guys do that. I was a young guy playing. I made mistakes all the time. Even the veterans make mistakes. But I just think he's like maxed out of what we're seeing. I don't see him getting better. I know Brian Campbell was mentoring him, but he is not like a Brian Campbell
Was
at
he?
all. Yes.
Brian Campbell was fast. He was smart too, man.
Remember we talked about this? Boquist is not a fast guy a small dude. He is not fast at all. And
I don't think
if you're
going to
be moving the puck up, no, yeah, exactly. If you're going to be moving the puck up like Brian Campbell, you got to get back. And Brian Campbell could recover.
Yeah.
This guy doesn't recover. He's always falling, and I know it's sometimes bad luck, but he is not the guy he's not the guy I would want on our team. If he's probably going to be included in a trade, I'm guessing. But some guys like Chicago, they hype up these like young guys that in every sport. Oh yeah, he's great. He's great. I was like, yeah, he's great because what else do we have?
Right.
We don't really have guys like.
Guess it's relative.
2010 Duncan Keith. Yeah, this guy's freaking the real deal. Yeah, of course, hype him. But this guy, come on, man. We don't. I just don't see it. This new type of defenseman. You can have him. I said I'd rather have five Jarmelsons than one of those guys. I'd rather have stay-at-home guys that. Kind of like the Nashville Predators, they all play a solid D game. Even the New York the Islanders, they play defense. They got a good goalie and they play defense. They got a chance to win every single night against any team. Those guys, and I'd rather have that, and I'd rather have our team be built like that.
Really?
I'd rather have stay-at-home guys, maybe a couple puck movers, but. No, I'd rather have more guys that are responsible in their own end and they block shots. That's like the New York Islanders. Like I said, these guys can, if they were one game away from beating Tampa, they would have been Stanley Cup champions just because of the style of their play.
Right, man. It's so funny. It's like, where's the balance at, for the team, especially how your team is made up, because you can't just have a bunch of puck movers on your team and want them to play back and play D. I think it totally goes down to how players are developed and how well they mesh with chemistry with other players.
Well, look at think of the last Stanley Cup champions, even in the 90s. Your best defenseman, let's see, Nick Lindstrom. You had Chris Chelios, who could play mean and nasty. He would very responsible in his own end, and he could shoot the puck too. And then like Dallas, they had Darian Hatcher, they had Daryl Sador. New Jersey had Scott Stevens. He can take your head off. Ken Danico, two stay-at-home mean guys. Yeah. Marty Brodeur in that. You're not scoring a lot of goals against these guys.
Yeah, those are really boring teams though too.
But they win.
Yeah, that's true.
They win. And then you had Colorado. You had Patrick Waugh in that. You had Rob Blake.
That was an exciting team.
Bork. Yeah. It was an all-star team. It wasn't even fair.
Yeah, it was.
And but all these teams, they have a solid goaltender and probably four really good defensemen that are very responsible in their own end. And sometimes they'll take chances and score goals. Right now, the Canadians, Shea Weber, when he was with Nashville, he was scoring 20 goals every season, just firing it from the blue line. But I've seen he adjusted his game a little bit. He's very good in his own end.
Yeah, he is.
And that team they very rarely will make a mistake, but they did last night that I think Ben Sherratt, he was kind of dogging it that last second, and Tampa made him pay.
Yeah.
And that's not them. They're not really like that. They made it to the final. They've been great defensively.
Yeah, Shea Weber has definitely changed his game. It doesn't seem like he really needs to move that much because he plays his zone so well.
Yep. He's very well positioned. He just knows where he's at, and he's just a great player, great leader.
Yeah, he is. He is, definitely. All right, so moving on. We've got Adam Fox wins the Norris Trophy.
Ooh.
Fleury wins the Vezina, and McDavid got unanimous votes for the MVP.
That's a shocker.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
No kidding. Fleury, was this his first Vezina?
Yeah, first one, and he's what is it, his 17th season, I think it is? That's amazing. Good for him. I thought Vasilevsky had a better season.
Yeah,
and
I thought
think
he
he's
did
a better
too.
goalie, but I think Fleury was well-deserved. I mean, he wasn't even supposed to be the starter, and he came away.
To be honest with you, I think that Vasilevsky faced stiffer competition.
Yeah, he did. It was just Vegas and Colorado, if you think about it.
Right.
And Minnesota kind of snuck their way in, but they were decent. You know? But they were beating up on the LA team or the California teams.
They were, man. And the Central turned out to be a much tougher division than everybody thought that it was going to be. Because even when they played the Hawks, man, and when the Hawks lost, they did get blown out a couple times. But for the most part, they hung in there until the end. Yeah,
the first two games they smoked us 5-0 and stuff. But we were just pretty much a brand new team. These guys first time playing together, and Tampa was like, we just won the cup last year. You guys kidding me? You're gonna send this squad out?
Yeah, I know. So, no center.
I'm good for Fleury though. I think he's well deserved. He's just a really great guy. He's going to be a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, he had a really great season. And actually, Nedeljkovic from Carolina. He had a really good season too.
Yeah, the goalie. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he really surprised a lot of people.
Adam Fox now. He surprised me, and I know our buddies from the Face Off Network. They're pumped.
Yeah, they are, man. Because I think we saw them comment. There's no way that he was going to win because of the NHL. And believe it or not, man, I'm really surprised that they not surprised by his play. I'm surprised that they gave it to him because they could have easily given it to Hedman.
I still think, I'm not trying to piss our guys off, but I still think Hedman is probably one of the best defensemen in the league with Cale Makar. I think those two are better, but Adam Fox had a great season.
Yeah, he did.
And I think he had like 18 points maybe against the Sabres, I read, maybe more. So, I mean, it's like,
that's not very impressive.
It's like the Rangers versus a Pee Wee team, so he's putting up a lot of numbers, but he's going to be a good defenseman, and I know Brian Leetch was probably one of the best defensemen in Rangers history.
Best American defenseman too, one of them.
Yeah, he's even hyping Fox too, and I honestly I can't say I've seen him much, but I've seen some of his highlights, and
yeah, me too.
He seems solid, and I'm happy for the Rangers because when you think of the Rangers, I think of the bread man. I think of Zibanejad and Henrik Lundqvist. I know he's not there anymore, but I don't really think of defensive guys. But it's cool that
other than Brian Leetch,
they got their guy. Yeah, Brian Leetch. Yeah, it's good that they found like their Duncan Keith. That they could start out with. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's cool. So, anyways, man, have you found any news, anything else popping out at you?
Well, we didn't talk about the trade that Nashville made. with LA. Yeah. Was it Arvidsson?
I hate Nashville so much, I just
so do I. I'm glad he's gone. He kills the Hawks all the time.
He does, man. He's a good player.
He is. I'm glad he can go out west and kill them now. We don't have to.
I'm really surprised they made that move, man. I mean, they have a pretty decent squad.
Do you think they're going back for Seth Jones? Do you think maybe they're creating some cap space? Because that was his first team.
But they would need to a trading chip in, though. And wouldn't you say Arvidsson would be a good trade chip for him?
Well, they could be waiting on the expansion draft, hoping to God that the Kraken are stupid enough to take Matt Duchene or Ryan Johansson.
Yeah, right.
And maybe they can offer some picks, something, But I think you're right. He would have been a great piece, but maybe they tried. Maybe we don't even know, and they said, "Nah, we don't want him." The Jackets, and maybe they're holding off for Bodequist, or they're trying to get Kirby. Who knows?
Oh no!
Maybe they tried. I'm sure he would want Seth Jones back because he struck out on that trade big time.
Yeah, man. It's kind of crazy because that was the Seth Jones, Ryan Johansson trade, right?
Yep, straight up swap.
Right.
Yep.
And you know what? At the time, Johansson was a very good center.
He was, but I mean, it was Columbus.
Right.
Sometimes these guys are so good in Columbus and they leave and they're just, they're terrible. Like Luc Dubois.
Yeah,
and he wasn't that good.
Yeah,
I mean,
man.
of course, he's getting top line minutes. He's going to be good. Like Cam Atkinson, he's really, really good. But do you think if he got traded, he would be as good?
As effective?
Because he's not going to. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I like the guy.
Yeah.
He's a hard worker. He's fast, and he had some great numbers with the bread man. But I mean, you could put me with the bread man,
no
and
kidding.
I'll get points.
I can put up 40, 50 points a year with him.
Yeah, I'll get my plus minus up, and
all I got to
give
do
me an
is
extra $2 million when my contract's expired.
no
Thanks,
kidding.
bread man. Yeah,
just put it right into the right.
Just give him that one timer
right
a little
wheelhouse.
bit in front of him. Yep, a little bit in front of him.
Just so he could slide and go down on one knee.
Yep, like Stamkos. Yeah.
Well, cool, man. Do you got anything else?
I did have something. We had something just happen. Oh, the Coyotes got their first not their first coach, but hired a new coach. They replaced Tocchet with Andre Tornigi or something. I can't say his name, but he is let's see. It's his first head coach. He was the OHL Ottawa in the Ontario Hockey League. They don't say the name, but he was coach of the year in 2018 and 2019, and he was an assistant for the 2021 IIHF World Championship for Canada, and they came in second. So I guess they want this guy to be the man there. I think Rick Tocchet would have been probably better, but it's probably the best they can get. I don't know too much about the Coyotes. They haven't been a good team since, they beat us that year in 2012. That's like the last time I pretty much followed them. But I heard that they're going to be in our division this year now. So we're going to have to deal with them again. Yeah.
Well, cool, man. It seems like there's a lot of hockey news coming out the past few days. There's going to be a lot more hockey news coming up. We're going to be covering it. If you have a chance, go to at FHN Net. We released our first article today, which is Thursday, July 1st. First article got dropped. We're talking about the sexual assault allegations with the Blackhawks. I know everybody's heard it, gave our opinion on it, and leave some comments and let us know what you think of the allegations. And it's crazy. What else you got, Matt?
Last thing. Take Ryan Nugent-Hopkins off the free agent board because he just signed an 8-year deal with the Oilers.
Yeah, if you were to redo that draft, he wouldn't even be in the top 10.
No, but I think they like him there. That he's familiar, he knows the system, and I heard him and McDavid are tight. And,
are they?
8 years for he'll probably end up finishing his career with the Oilers. It's pretty cool. He was a first-round pick. You'd like to see your first-round guy develop. He's not bad, but I mean, when you got a guy like McDavid and Draisaitl, he's just not going to get much spotlight. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's not a number one guy like he was supposed drafted to be.
Yeah.
Not a number one draft pick, I would think. Not even a top 10, to be honest with you.
They were hoping a lot from him and
Right.
Taylor Hall, and it just didn't really work out. They got lucky with Draisaitl and McDavid saving them, though.
Right.
So he's $41 million contract.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
Lighting out fireworks over here. All right, guys, that's all that we got for you tonight. Thanks for tuning in. Check out our articles. Check out the other podcasts on at FHN.net, and give them a shout out. Let them know what you think. That's all that we got for you tonight. This is the Tomahawk. We're out.